Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to do something really cool. We're opening up a kind of special guidebook, one with some amazing tips on how to be a truly awesome human.
So let's just kick things off with a question for you. Have you ever noticed how it's super easy to see when a friend messes up, but maybe a little harder to spot your own mistakes?
Yeah, me too.
It's kind of like the difference between looking out a window at everybody else and looking straight into a mirror at yourself. The guidebook we're talking about today, it says that mirror is where we got to start. Okay, let's dive in.
All right, so our very first tip. This one is all about getting our own house in order before we try to, help someone else with theirs. The source calls this one the log and the speck. Sounds interesting, right?
Okay, so the guidebook uses this really powerful image to make its point. Now, the language is a little old school, I get it. So you're probably wondering, what in the world do mote and beam even mean?
Well, check this out. A mote. It's just a tiny, tiny speck of dust. Like, barely anything. But a beam? Whoa. That is a giant wooden log, the kind you'd use to build an entire house. I mean, the difference is just massive, and that's the whole point.
So, here's the big takeaway. The guidebook is basically saying that being super critical and always pointing out other people's tiny flaws, that's a way bigger problem. That's the log in our own eye. It's so much bigger than the little speck we might see in someone else.
Okay, so now that we've talked about what not to do, let's flip it around. Let's talk about something amazing we can do every single day. This is tip number 2, the ultimate golden rule. Here's the simple version. Treat other people exactly how you would want to be treated. It's really that simple, but man, is it powerful. Think about it. If you want friends to be kind to you, you've got to be kind to them first. And what's so cool about this rule is how it completely flips our thinking, right? Instead of always worrying about what can I get, it pushes us to ask, what can I give? It makes you stop and think, what's one thing you could give or do for someone else today?
Now I know what you might be thinking. All of this can sound, well, pretty hard to do on your own. But guess what? The guidebook has a tip for that too. It's all about how to ask for help.
So, the source asks us to imagine this scene. A little kid is hungry and asks their mom or dad for some bread. I mean, what loving parent would ever give them a rock instead, right? Of course not. That's just unthinkable.
And that's the message here. We should ask God for help with that same simple trust that a child has for their parent. Because the guidebook says God is even more willing to give us good things than a human parent is. So, next time you feel stuck, remember, it's totally okay to ask.
All right, moving on to tip number 4. This part of the guidebook is all about choices. And it says that in life, there are basically 2 different paths you can walk down. Your choice. And this slide just lays it out so clearly. You've got the wide path, it's easy, it's crowded, everyone's on it, it looks fun. But the guidebook warns us it's a trap, hiding thorns. Then you've got the narrow path. It's harder, maybe a little lonelier, but that's the one that leads to the best place, to real life.
Okay, we're at our final tip, and this one really brings everything together. It's about building a character that is so strong it can stand up to, well, pretty much anything.
And get this, it's a super simple 2-step process. Step 1, hear the right words. All the good advice we've been talking about from the guidebook. But step 2, and this is the absolute key, you have to actually do them. See, the guidebook says that someone who just hears all this stuff but doesn't act on it, they're like a person who builds their house on sand. And what happens when a storm comes? The whole thing just gets washed away, poof.
But someone who hears the words and puts them into action, now that person is like a wise builder. They find solid rock to build on. And no matter what life throws at them, wind, rain, any kind of storm, that house is going to stand strong.
So, the real takeaway is this. Every single choice you make, every action you take, it's like you're adding another brick to the house that is your life, your character. It really makes you think, doesn't it? What kind of house are you building today?